Well, let's get to the two main bones of contention this week. This was June 24th. It aired for AEW Wrestling.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you actually watched, because AEW this week, they started off with a Lumberjack match, Wardlow versus Luchasaurus. You said you watched 2 segments. I think that was the only segment with MJF. Is that what you watched?
Well, therein lies the problem. Here comes MJF, so I'm going to watch. And MJF did nothing. The idea. See, I know what they were. I assume Tony Khan really is booking this because nobody else would have done this that knew what they were doing. And I know the idea is by somebody, like I've read articles on, medical procedures. That means that I know the words, but I don't know how to do them or when they are really called for. Last week or whenever they had the big schmoz with all the people with these guys. So now then the Wardlow and Luchasaurus, the two big guys, they were in the middle of it. So now they're going to have a Lumberjack match with Wardlow versus Luchasaurus so that they can have a schmoz and book a tag team match for their big fighter fest. All this is booking 101. Exactly. It's booking 101. You're just coming up with shit that you've heard on shoot interviews is the reason to have matches. And then you do it that way. This was the exact worst match to have on free TV or to start this fucking thing out. Well, I don't mean start it, but continue it. The first time that the two guys meet is on free television. The two big monsters. The first time they meet is in a single match on free television. They don't know what they're fucking doing. This is like putting a hat on a hat. We're not only going to give you away the match between the two giants, we're going to put it on free TV and give it away. We're also going to make it a Lumberjack match, a stipulation that wasn't fucking needed and that nobody knew how to fucking work. And besides that, we're going to kill the program because if we'd have started with the tag match, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy against Wardlow and MJF, then you have two guys that could have worked the fucking match and made the big men special and limited their spots. Heat on Jungle Boy, comeback Luchasaurus. MJF and fucking Jungle Boy are the actual workers and athletes. Wardlow's indestructible. He shouldn't be bumping except a couple of times so he can be dominant against Jungle Boy. MJF can take bumps, but he can keep the heat because he's got the backup. There's all kinds of ways you could do it. But when you start out with this match, these guys are the shits. Wardlow's the shits because he's green, but he's huge and he looks great and he's got a ton of potential. Luchasaurus is the shits because apparently he may not be green anymore. We may have to settle for the fact that he's just awkward in the shits, but he looks great and he can do some stuff. So you hide this. You give them the tag. You tease the big men getting involved. There's no dominant big man one over the other. Both get their spots in. And then you advertise the goddamn showdown out of the tag match between the big men on something they have to pay for. And then you keep that short because it's going to end up being just like this match. And this was a rotten fucking match. And it was gonna be rotten. It's not even the guy's fault. This was going to be rotten because it's not a good matchup. So you keep it short, keep it special, and keep the big bombs coming. They did some sloppy big man stuff. Luchasaurus cannot hit the ropes or the turnbuckles. Anybody wants to go back and watch this match now, watch him get shot into a turnbuckle, watch him run and hit the ropes. The Lumberjacks at first didn't try to toss anybody back in. Then the heels got some heat on the babyface the one time, but they all just didn't know what to do, and and it's, by the way, the highest paid outlaw talent in the world was surrounding the ring. Some of these guys couldn't buy a television and definitely shouldn't have been on it 6 months ago, and now they're on national TV on contracts, and look at the state of them. I wrote, now that the fans have seen this, they'll never want to see it again. That's the old fucking, hey, Who do I want on my roster? Arn Anderson or Sid Vicious in 90s WCW? Arn Anderson draw you steady money for a long period of time. People never get tired of watching it. Sid Vicious will draw you $15 million in one night on pay-per-view, and they probably won't ever want to see it again. Luchasaurus' comeback is those awkward kicks delivered with no fire, because instead of working like a big guy, he wants to flip around like a fucking gymnast. There was no life to this match. There were sloppy moves back and forth. They buried Wardlow's invincible aura that he and MJF have built up. Both guys are the same size, which means they both look normal. Wardlow did do a great power slam on the ramp. I don't know how that might have felt to old Luchasaurus. But finally, the Lumberjacks getting a fucking schmoz. Luchasaurus and Wardlow have a sloppy fight moving across the stage to their stage predetermined position. Then Wardlow throws, I think it was Wardlow, one of the regular sized guys got thrown off the stage into the crowd. But then Wardlow picked Stunted Growth up and threw him. So they should have kept it to that one, because our guy had already gone off the stage. Then here goes fucking Marco Stunted Growth, but he flies farther. Then they caught him. Then Wardlow gets kicked off the stage, and everybody caught him. And then everybody gathered around, and Luchasaurus, if they had just been having this fight and punching each other in the face, and they're so mad at each other, and Luchasaurus kicks Wardlow off the fucking stage into a group of other people, then if he was so fucking mad he wants to get a hold of him, I can maybe see running and jumping off the stage and tackling the fucking guy. But instead, he went to the edge of the stage like he was in a swimming pool and fucking turned around and did a backflip off the stage just to show that he's a big, goofy-looking, tattooed fuck, but he can do a backflip onto the entire group of people indiscriminately because he couldn't even see where the guy he was fighting was. So there was no element of legitimacy of I'm in a fight, I'm really mad at this guy. No, but I'm going to show everybody I can do a fucking backflip. Now we know why the dinosaurs are extinct. Because they had fucking $1 million bodies and 10-cent brains. They're fucking huge, but their brain's the size of a walnut, and it doesn't fucking power their giant body to do smart, sensible things. So this match was the same indie garbage that they all do. And then the finish is a referee distraction and a nut shot, and Wardlow's finish 1, 2, 3. It hurt both guys. It was fucking rotten. Then everybody got in a big brawl, and Luchasaurus and Wardlow looked even more amateurish than they did during the match. And Tony Khan, within 10 seconds, had sent word that he announced that they signed a tag team match for their Fyter Fest, which is what should have been here to begin with, MJF and Wardlow against Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. This is what happens when fans congregate on the internet and write, instead of, you've heard of fan fiction, fan booking. They have a knowledge that somewhere that these things are done where you have the fight and then you book a lumberjack match so nobody get away, but that really didn't work in. And then you bring it to, I don't know what the fuck. They're thinking a thought process, but they don't understand that it's more than just stipulations to shit. You've got to have the right stipulation for the right guy and the right match that they can perform that makes people want to see more, not less. This was not it. What'd you think?
I was, like you, curious why this was a lumberjack match. Beyond everything else, I don't know if at the height of the coronavirus we should be having lumberjacks next to each other at ringside.
Well, they're very hardy people. They work outside a lot. They've got strong immune systems.
There was one guy, I don't even know who he was. He had the long flowing hair. I thought it was Jungle Boy. No, Jungle Boy was standing next to him. There was another guy who looked just like Jungle Boy, but bigger. I was like, why would they do that? Why would they have this guy at ringside with the Jungle Boy look? I think Wardlow has a ton of potential. I wouldn't be using him the way they're using him. I don't think there was a promo from MJF on the rest of the show. That's a mistake with the way they use MJF.
I was going to ask, I did fast forward trying to find him, and I was not successful, so I was hoping I didn't miss anything.
If there was one, I missed it too, but I didn't see one. But I agree with you about all of a sudden in the midst of all this, like you can make an argument, and I'm not making the argument, but you could make an argument for Marco Stunt getting up and running as fast as he can across the stage to dive on everyone. The Luchasaurus backflip, he couldn't do it quickly. So he had to gather his thought process, get ready, everyone's standing there waiting. It's in the midst of a brawl, it's in the midst of a lumberjack match. To me, that's part of the problem. It's just, let's do spectacular spots for no reason. Let's just do it because I can do it. And now's the time because there are all these people here and they have a reason to catch me.
I got news for you. If I ever see a fucking 300-pound guy flying off a fucking 12-foot fucking precipice at me, I'm not going to be there when he lands.
And like you, I thought it was just backwards doing this to build to the tag team match. You would think you'd do the tag team match to build towards the big, they're finally one-on-one, a lumberjack match, or you could just do it one-on-one, a match in a wrestling ring. Wardlow and Luchasaurus. What could happen? That tag team match could barely contain these two. What will happen one-on-one? But we're going backwards here.
Yeah, but just remember, Dino, just because you can cut your own ear off doesn't make you Van Gogh.